take a seat. Hello, everyone. It's difficult to be the last one before the coffee break, and especially to, the second day of the event after all the party. So my name is Alex, and I'm from Customertimes, and I have a great panel today, Morgwn, John, and Ken. So our session is about making Omnichannel as a solution and not a problem. So Morgwn, what's your experience with Omnichannel, and what's your journey that you can share? What's your role?
Yeah, thanks, Alex. I'm the Omnichannel strategy lead for BMS Germany, in case my accent didn't give that away. As with many things, if you approach Omnichannel as a problem, it's going to be a problem. And there's absolutely people within any organization that do that. It's a box I have to tick. It's something everybody's telling me I have to do. It becomes a problem. But in our Omnichannel department and the way BMS think about it, and myself personally, it's the solution to many things. Like, it's the solution to delivering a better customer experience. It's the solution to realizing and recognizing impact. It's the solution to building data literacy and capabilities within your organization. Because to me, I've been in this industry a long time, outside of pharma and 6 years within it. For me, Omnichannel is just the latest name for customer experience. Because when you boil it down, it's right customer, right channel, right content, right time. And that's the same whether you're across 400 channels or 3.
All right, yeah. John, thank you for replacing Aurelie, who couldn't make it. So unfortunately, didn't have time to put your photo here. What's your role, and who are you, and what's your experience with Omnichannel?
So yeah, I'm not Aurelie, obviously, so no need to sort of check your eyesight. So my name is John, and I lead global medical education and digital comms at Gilead and Kite, and focus on cell therapy, CAR-T cell therapy. And previously, I was the global lead for medical digital at Vive, where I sort of set up the global medical digital team and set up the infrastructure and got the team sort of on that medical digital transformation journey, which wasn't easy, especially when you mentioned the O word. It's something when you...
O word?
The O word, yeah.
Right. Okay.
In fact, stop talking about Omnichannel now. It's actually more about customer experience, as Morgwn was saying. And actually, Omnichannel is a part of that. Mm-hmm. But for me, it's about, especially in medical, it's really about having that right mindset and the change management. Because Omnichannel, in the way it's been portrayed so far, is very, very commercially focused. And I think when you talk to medical about it, you get a lot of allergic reaction and people not wanting to really be involved in this. And so it's important to really reframe this in terms of how you want to approach it, and also what are the goals that you're trying to meet, or what are the objectives for medical that you're trying to sort of solve for. Because it's not going to be the silver bullet that solves everything. Really, it's important to focus on what are the priorities that, as medical, you want to be meeting. Is it, better engagement scientifically? Do you want to be increasing the impact or the reach of your messages? And then look at how Omnichannel can potentially, or how improving customer experience can potentially work.
Yeah, Daria got it right. So the next event will be not mentioning Omnichannel. It will be all about customer experience. Okay, got it. Ken, please introduce yourself and what do you do at Customertimes?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Ken, and I'm head of innovation at Customertimes. And at the company, we are mostly like a system integrator, helping our clients, our customers, to make their omnichannel solutions really advanced and modern, leveraging the new technologies. And my journey with omnichannel began like 15 years ago. I was working as a engineering consultant for retail and telecom industries. And what I see now, this is a huge transformations in terms of problems. Because when we started, the problem was in the technology side. And there were just very few channels, and it wasn't about like strategy and change management. Nothing was working, basically. Yes. Now we have all the technology, we have all the tools, and the issue is that how we leverage this technology, how we embed it into the whole strategy, how we do change management and other stuff to make it really fly.
Excellent. Yeah, the name of our session is Omnichannel as a solution another problem. And we had great sessions here about the solution, but also about failures. And I think it's always intriguing to say like what was the bumps, or the opportunities to learn. In your journey with Omnichannel at BMS, Morgwn, what can you share with the audience that can, us learn together?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Because we practiced before this. So I really enjoyed the sessions on failure, and I think, working within a company that celebrates failure is really fantastic opportunity. Yeah. I know within my team I've built a culture where when we don't hit targets and our bonuses are reduced, we just love it. Like it's brilliant.
Bravo.
But I want to talk quickly through a use case because I think there's double-edged. I mean, if you seamlessly execute an omnichannel campaign, you learn absolutely nothing. And I won't go into huge detail about it, but there's a campaign that we executed a couple of years ago. It was really quite simple. We wanted to segment and identify digital engagers within our target customer group, analyze the content and messaging that they'd received via field-triggered email and face-to-face, and then personalize some head office or EDM emails that showed them content they hadn't seen. And then in subsequent steps, further personalize on topics they were interested in, that they engaged with, and format. If they had podcasts, they got more podcasts. If they liked PDFs, they got more PDFs. And throughout every step of that journey, identify opportunities where engagement would be a valuable insight to feedback to the field, and give that insight to the reps via next best action or Viva suggestions. So we've got like 5 or 6 different channels, an interplay of data and interplay of technology. It was great. We targeted 1,100 customers at the start. We followed the data, executed everything, and in the end it resulted in, we could attribute 15 to 17 face-to-face calls at the end. So that's kind of how I talked about it in the brand team and leadership. Things like that was success. Behind the scenes, it was an absolute, excuse my French, shit show. Like, it was an absolute disaster. We didn't have consistent customer segmentation. Nobody had ever targeted digital engagers or set the limits. What is a digital engager? It took us 11 weeks to find the content identifiers in the back of our CRM system. So we'd say Alex has interacted with content piece B, John has interacted with C, so don't put them in that email. Our MLR process required that we could not use dynamic content. So we needed to hand code or hand design all the different iterations of content. The first email had 12 different versions. The second one was 23. It's very frustrating because as you move through the journey, they're going to less and less people. Yeah. The third email we sent, it went to 85 customers. It took 103 internal emails to create that target list. My producer could have just personally emailed every customer at that point, and it would have been more efficient.
Sounds familiar.
Right? Yeah. So the success story was integrated data, integrated technology, great experience, attributable face-to-face calls based on an offline activity, big thumbs up. But if you were to analyze it from an ROI perspective, there is no way in hell it was worth the blood, sweat, and tears that went in behind the scenes to deliver it. Right. But where it became worth it, and I'm going to stop in just a second, is when you helicopter out, because that process identified all the holes and all the things that were wrong in how we wanted to try and execute omnichannel. Right, and so it gave us a backlog of segmentation, engagement, where do we store our customer data, how do we use it, integration, MLR processes needed to change and now have. The operating models for delivering things have now changed, and we can use dynamic content. So standalone, disaster, not worth it, but it identified all the things we need to fix, and now we can do that same campaign like that.
Super. Lots of insights for those who are starting this, and the fact that you learned upon all this and improved and industrialized, I think it shows the maturity of the organization. John, any examples similar to this?
Yeah, I think my example is actually around, and the last talk was a nice segue to it, is next best action and implementing that for medical. Yeah. So we identified a need to bring it in, to support medical engagement, in a therapeutic area that is growing, where you've got loads of healthcare professionals, you've got a finite number of MSs or MSLs in the field. How do you increase the impact and reach of your activities and your education? sounds simple, great, let's do it, why not? It's already working for commercial, why not for medical? But again, the whole mindset and change management really comes in when you have to reframe things in the right way for medical, because all of this comes with misconceptions, or people thinking, this is too commercial, I don't want to be doing this. This will make me sort of potentially look less credible in front of the HCP if I'm doing exactly what commercial is doing. And it's about making people understand what is the value of doing something like this, and how do you actually frame it to support your medical goals. So we did a proof of concept. We didn't call it a pilot because we wanted to make sure, we wanted to set expectations that this is something that will continue. It's not something that will just happen, and if it fails, that's it, we're going to stop. And then we actually brought in people from the field to co-create with us to make sure that the use cases are relevant to those MSs in the field to support with their engagements. And we started with really simple use cases. We had about 3 to 4 simple use cases, with the premise that we would build on and create more complicated ones, bring in HCP 360 and more interesting sort of complex suggestions. But in order to do that, we need to make sure that this works first. So that also brought in buy-in from the medical team in order to be invested and be accountable in terms of delivering this. People initially thought, am I not doing a good job? Is this why you're bringing this in? Is this some sort of performance management or monitoring initiative? And of course, it wasn't. It's more about improving that scientific engagement. And all I said to them was, you don't have to, you're empowered to reject the suggestions, but all I want you to do is at least tell me why you're rejecting the suggestions, so that the algorithm can learn and make sure that it can provide you more useful suggestions. And during the proof of concept, I have to remember not to say pilot, during the proof of concept, we saw that there was 100% utilization actually of the suggestions, and the percentage of accepted ones went from 30 to 40% to about 90% plus, which meant that people are engaging with something like this, they are finding it useful. Key learnings from that was data. Data is key. I'm not going to say rubbish in, rubbish out, because the data was useful, it was just not organized in the right way, which meant that when you were sending suggestions, potentially it was going to two MSLs, because the way it was set up, it wasn't sort of clean enough, and one HCP was assigned to 2 different MSLs. So really important to make sure that your data is in an organized way in order to make this as useful as possible. There was a lot of manual input of information at the beginning, and that's okay, because it meant that we could then resolve for that later with the learnings that we got from this proof of concept.
So two learnings: never call pilot a pilot. You never call omnichannel an omnichannel if you would like to make it for medical. Okay, Ken, any examples? Because you have broad breadth of customers that you show this.
So since we are talking about like a very concrete examples, I will give you one that was like a bit painful, I would say. We built for one of our customers a self-detailing solution. So it means that HCP can go via the link and study all the information through the digital journey, making her choices, getting relevant content in return. And we, of course, collect all the metrics, all the statistics. How much time did she spend going through the journey, which choices she made, how much minutes she spent studying a particular slide or area or whatever. And I was mainly concerned about adoption through the doctors. So it was the question for me, will they use this functionality or not? And it appeared after like 4 months of a pilot that they do use it. And we were almost celebrating. But there is always a but. The idea of all this solution was to help reps to be prepared to craft their message based on all this information. They can craft their message for the particular HCP. And we realized that no one from sales reps use it. No one. And then we started our investigation why. And we realized that there are just 2 types of answers. So first, I didn't know it exists. Second, I don't know how to use it. And that was crazy because there was a huge investment of time and effort and money to build this solution, and a teeny tiny investment to socialize this solution within the organization. And finally, what we got, we have a pure omni-channel solution from technology standpoint and pure multi-channel solution from the organizational standpoint.
Yeah.
So this, again, returns us back into the importance of a change management topic.
Yeah, change management, and I loved a couple of sessions just before ours about change management, how important it is. We have only 5 minutes. A quick question, because I realized that you have diverse background, not only from pharma, but also from as a trained HCP, which is pretty intriguing. I don't know how many here have like are physicians by training. Can you raise your hands? 1, 2, 3. The one on stage. So, John, what's your perspective to omnichannel as a clinician by training?
So as a clinician, I had no idea what omnichannel was. I was only introduced to that sort of term, obviously, in pharma. But I think whenever I'm looking or setting a strategy, I always sort of think about, first and foremost, I'm a clinician, HCP. What would I have wanted, how would I have wanted to be engaged with as a clinician? And you know, I remember when I used to be on call late at night, you get a really difficult case, you don't know potentially how to deal with it or what the data is. You want to be able to get that information straight away. You don't want to have to wait to speak to medical information or arrange a meeting with an MSL out of hours. HCPs don't work 9 to 5. They work 24/7, and that information needs to be accessible, bite-sized. And you know, we talk about always on. It really needs to be always on. You really need to be able to get that information quickly. If I'm about to go into clinic and see a patient, and again, difficult case, how am I going to manage this patient, or what treatment option am I going to offer them? I want to be able to know what is the latest data that's going to support me in my clinical decision making to really improve that patient outcome. If I'm able to speak to an MSL, great. They can give me the lowdown on the data, but sometimes you don't have that time, and you really need to make that decision quickly. And so those digital channels are really important. And what's more important is being able to provide that relevant information at the right time for that clinician.
Got it. And also intriguing background, Morgwn, consumer goods, different backgrounds, a lot with consumer goods and consumer health company. Any kind of experience from there, how companies are using omnichannel and why, you know?
Yeah, perhaps 2 points, and I'll try and be quick. One is, obviously I've got a long history of digital customer experience and consultation outside of pharma. There absolutely are things that pharma can learn from external and other industries. I mean, I've got a long history in automotive. They have distributed workforces, an OEM model, somebody else, i.e. the dealership, in charge of the important part of the customer experience. And from what I see, everybody loves being compared to car salesmen. So there's a lot of really good use cases I can have there. Financial services, legal and compliance framework. So there's a lot of aspirational things we can take from externally and bring them into pharma. My other point is we live in a bubble in pharma, and it's a really nice bubble. But like, how many things that have you seen on the stage in the last 2 days that you've agreed with? It's bloody everything. We all look the same. You know, John and I are wearing 2 halves of different suits.
Not planned.
I saw somebody yesterday wearing the same socks as me. Most of us smell the same because we're using the Valamar shower gel, right? You need to get out of our bubble and look at it from the inside. So when I sit in a room agreeing with everything, I can't help go, maybe I should push the other way and start at least entertaining the idea that there's something that I'm nodding at that is wrong, or that maybe needs to be thought about differently. So that's, you know, what I'd like you to take away from this.
Absolutely,
is, you know,
Mario, it's
the empty chair.
for your list, I believe. So. And Ken, maybe consumer health experience?
Yeah, what I can see now within a consumer health, I would say better CPG experience.
Consumer goods.
Consumer goods, yes. We see that there is a huge movement of investments from a pre-purchase experience to the purchase and post-purchase experience. Now, why? Because with all these digital channels and digital tools, there is a constant noise around us, right? And as the humans, I feel that we found out how to survive within constant noise. We simply ignore all these messages. And for brands, for them, it's harder and harder to break through this noise, to reach out to your head and to put a particular message. And so best of them, they started investing in a consumer journey between purchase stage and post-purchase. And probably you want to visit some stores where you feel like a huge care about you. You choose your brands, not based on their advertising, but based on your experience with this. And I will give you an example from a cosmetology company, very big. 5 seconds.
There aren't any crocodiles.
I will borrow 1 minute. So, huge cosmetology company. They do almost the same that you guys. They visit dermatologists and cosmetologists, and they craft their messages, they promote their product, but then they invest and they have a lot of tools that support people, that support cosmetologists and patients during the journey. And talking about pharma, I visit my doctor, I prescribe some medication, then I bought it in a pharmacy, then I'm at home, and I see once per day. When, right? How do I figure out when should I take it? Of course, sometimes I'm happy, I'm lucky, and I understand that I should do it in the morning. Before breakfast, within breakfast, after breakfast. What is the difference between the breakfast and after the breakfast? How many minutes should pass? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, and my doctor doesn't have time to explain me this. And I only once I had a really great experience. Doctor told me, buy this, there will be QR code, you will scan it, and you will understand everything. And that was a cool experience. And yeah, but pharma is not there yet. And I believe that this is an approach at the pharmaceutical industry you can borrow from CPG company and implement.
Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for your time. Lots of learning and action items for next session. Thank you.
Thank you.